Hey gamers, this is Typhoon GD here, and today we're going to be playing Stereo Badness. This should be fun. Oh goodness, my game is really lagging. Okay, forget about that. Let's go make a level instead. So first, I'm just going to be starting by making the layout. I went ahead and picked my song and set my background ground colors. I suggest going for somewhat dark colors. I proceed to make a simple layout here that's around 5 seconds long. Now if you're watching this, you should already know how to make a decent layout. Just make it sync with the song and you'll be good. A layout is really only 5% of the whole level anyways. I started out on the block design by using the sloped and regular base blocks to create a sort of strip on one block along the inside edge of the block. There's one rule of thumb for block designs, and that is there are 5 elements: outline, base blocks, detail, glow, and colors. So for the remainder of the base blocks, I went ahead and used the brick base block to fill in the rest of the block. For the inside of this large block, I went ahead and divided up the blocks so there are smaller bits on a different design inside of the large block, so it doesn't look so uniform and bad. One very important thing when you're doing this, and with all outlines, is to remember to use corner pieces. If you don't use corner pieces, people will notice, and they will hate you for it. And then I just filled in the remainder of the blocks with the brick base block. Here I am just experimenting with colors and layering. You want your colors to blend, and for the Z layers to be correct so weird stuff doesn't happen. Important thing to remember is that blending colors will always go under solid colors if they are on the same layer. I've heard desaturated colors look good, so I guess I'll use those. So now what I am doing is adding a glow outline to the blocks and section blocks. I do have slopes, so the glow will be a bit weird, but I just try to make it work as much as possible. Either that, or use ARwooly's tutorial on how to do slope glows. So I did that, and made all the glows black. For me, the glow layer is layer 5, but you can use whichever glow layer works for you. So now I'm going to fill in the inside of the section blocks inside the big block here. I use those 1.9 pieces, or whatever they are called, and add a glow to them to outline the inside of them. Also, when using these pieces, make sure you use the correct variant. The colors should match if they are correct. Again, colors, glow, layering, make sure that you use them correctly. So here, I'm just sectioning off the strip of blocks I made a while back to give them a bit of separation. Make sure the orientation of the outline blocks is correct. Here are some simple ground spikes. Just using the default ones, I add some background blending chains and glow behind it. Starting on the details, I use these parallelograms to give this block another outline thing. I also use the large pipe blocks under the parallelogram. So now I'm using these 2-color animated blocks because they look pretty good. I went ahead and placed these along the right side of my structures. For these, just make sure the 2 colors look good look good with each other. So now we're gonna make a glow detail thing. Just make what I made and change the hue on the last one. A good tip is to have all glows on blending except for black glows. So now you have this thing that you can just place around. So now I'm going to make this small diagonal glow. This is good for filling in cracks in block division. I don't exactly use it in the most optimal way here, so you should experiment with them. Again, use layers, and as you don't want it to be a pain selecting objects. Using these 2 triangle blocks, I placed some along the outline to give it a bit more detail. Taking a bit of inspiration from brand silver, I think, I made some of these blocks that are completely divided just to place them around. They turned out better in my head, but again, you should experiment with your blocks and everything. Just added a bit of glow around them to make them fit in some more. Kinda made them look uglier, actually. I made a small glow pillar here, just as more detail. At this point, you just need to scroll through the blocks and see what detail you want to add and what works for you. Here, I used some of these squares next to the pipe blocks and put some glow behind them. I then used these on the slanted part of the block just to add some more detail. I then used these connector pieces, I think that's what they are? I don't know, but I used them on the inside for detail connecting together some of the block sections. Now, these fading lines. These are very good for adding extra details. I made some large ones and placed them in my small diagonal glows along the edges of the blocks. Use these for if you need just a bit of extra defining detail. They look pretty good as that, or even as the edges of custom spikes. So here's a neat trick I learned. Make a circle of black glow using the round glows and delete half of it. Using the remainder semicircle, place it in spots on your block design. This adds some interesting shading to the block and makes it look pretty cool. Experiment with opacity and all that. Just adding some more detail to these vertical structures, using the glow things from earlier, but I suggest you use something that looks better. So I got lazy here and added simple details from the end of the details tab. I suggest you add some other stuff such as outline details and better glow and do more than I did. Some last details I want to add are these 2-color circle things. I just used the quarter circles to make this. I added a shadow using black round glow behind it so it doesn't look bad. Again, I've stressed this enough, but make sure your layering is correct. Finally, I used some 3D blocks to make outline details here. I just made some simple object and background pulses to the beat. I'm assuming you already know how to use pulse triggers, so just create some lines and add your pulse triggers so they are to the beat of the song. Finally, I just added some white glow on top of the orbs to make them look a bit better. Activate Don't Fade, Don't Enter, and turn up glow off the outlines, and you're good. Let's see what we've got. So that was just some basic deco. I only made this in around 50 minutes, so I kind of rushed it. Take your time when making your levels, and use your details well. Some important ideas to recap are the 5 elements of a block design, which I will put in the description, and the correct usage of glow. Outlines should be orientated correctly, and layers should be used to not have overlapping blocks. Use your Z layers and make sure things are on the correct Z layer by the time you are done with your level. Don't forget to activate Don't Fade and Don't Enter if you want, and make sure glow is turned off for outline blocks from the color menu.